Definitely not. See, Parshuram had a personal grudge to begin with, which he settled. He settled the score by killing Kartavira Arjun, who was the antagonist in the story. He did not have to do it 21 times. Same for Lord Ram. He set ideals for the entire society to follow. And in fact, he suggested, in both the cases where he killed Vali and he killed Ravan, he suggested that the next king marry the queen. So Sugriv actually married Tara, who was Vali's wife. And Ram ensured that Angad, who was Vali's son, would be made the heir to the kingdom. Similarly, in Lanka, Vibhishan actually married Mandodari. Not a lot of people know that.
Episodes with Dr. Vineet Agarwal are always stellar. They're some of our most well-received episodes because, as is the case with the best podcast guests, Dr. Vineet Agarwal is extremely well-read, and he doesn't just view his subject of ancient Indian culture as a subject in itself. He views it in conjunction with ancient history, in conjunction with Tantra, in conjunction with science. And these are the elements that we brought to this particular conversation, while it's mostly centered around Kalki, or the reason for the apocalypse according to Indian culture, the final avatar of Vishnu. We also spoke about elements of ancient history. Very, very fascinating conversation. It's conversations like this that become flag post conversations for our team because we know the quality of content packed into these episodes. For more episodes like this, make sure you follow us on Spotify. We're Spotify exclusive, which means that every episode is available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. If you've ever wanted to learn more about Indian culture and not just about Kalki, this is the episode for you. And if this is the first episode with Vineet Agarwal that you're checking out, I promise you, you're going to enjoy all the other episodes. And I also nudge you to check out our Hindi podcast where we've covered even more topics with this mastermind of ancient Indian culture. Dr. Vineet Agarwal returns on the Ranveer Show now. It's going to be a super hit blockbuster podcast with Dr. Vineet Agarwal again. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you so much, Ranveer. It's good to be back.
How do you feel after the last two incredibly well received? Last four, actually, not two.
3.
Oh, 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I just lose my sense of logic when
You
it
do
comes.
a lot of podcasts. That's fine.
But each and every one of them was a super hit, man. All crossed 1 million views, which we can't say about a lot of guests. And it's often a great telltale sign about who we should be creating unlimited number of conversations with. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Ranveer. I think it's also a sign of the content that people are looking forward to. It's a lot of people, I think I've realized over the years that a lot of people are invested in knowing about their culture and their heritage, and that knowledge has not been very easily available till now. So I think podcasts like the ones that you have been doing are very, very helpful, be it with Gaur Gopal Das Prabhu or with, Abhijit Chavda sir or with anyone, who is knowledgeable about Indian history and culture. I think that has been the uptake, which has happened over the years.
Yeah, there's certain kind of content that you can only gain from listening to podcasts,
Definitely.
So while people think that, the podcast phase is done, I don't think so. I think there's a lot more knowledge to be unearthed in India. But that's what I think today because you're in front of me. Let's talk about the topic for today. We're going to do a kind of pacey podcast. This one specifically about the Kalki Avatar, which is one of our most highly requested podcasts. I honestly don't know where to begin this conversation. We chalked out 5 points that we'll cover, but maybe the pre-point is a sort of brief outlook on what Kalki is.
Sure.
Think of the word Antichrist, think of the word Messiah, think of the word apocalypse, think of the word future of Hinduism. That's a phrase. But think of these kind of ideas, and that's where the Kalki Avatar lies. How would you firstly like to describe the word Avatar? Secondly, could you give us a brief overview on what Kalki Avatar is?
Sure, Ranveer. So, see, first of all, to begin with, we understand that in Hinduism, there is a trinity, right? So we spoke about a couple of gods and goddesses in the previous podcast, and we understood that, there's a hierarchy of gods. And Lord Vishnu amongst them, is one of the highest gods amongst the Trinity. And he is the person responsible for preserving this universe. He's the maintainer, the preserver of this universe. So